This is the Big Ten on ESPN. A tight Thanksgiving turnaround featuring two teams playing twice in 3 days. Undefeated Rutgers playing host to Hartford of the America East. On Wednesday, Jason Dunn poured in a career-high 22. The Hawks fell for the third consecutive game. While Deshaun Freeman's third double-double of the year against North Texas assured Rutgers their best start since 2000. The Rack is ready for Black Friday matinee with a 6-0 start very much in sight. Hello, everybody, with Rob Kennedy, Mike Watts. We hope you had a terrific Thanksgiving, and thanks for joining us. Rutgers, typically by this point in the year, has already been tagged with a couple losses, which makes it all the more impressive that they start 5-0.
Yeah, and they have a chance if they win today. It's the best start since back in 1975-76. Oh, by the way, a team that went to the Final Four. Steve Pikiell's come in here. He's re-energized the program. He's changed the culture. They're doing it with defense, rebounding. That's all about work ethic. His team has really responded.
Meanwhile, for John Gallagher's Hartford team, they're 1-4 on the year. However, they know that they need the stars and the planets to align for them to stick in this game. How do they do that?
Well, they've got to make threes, and then they've got to be able to survive on the backboard. They've got to limit extra opportunities for the Scarlet Knights. Steve
Pikiell taking on John Gallagher in the coaching matchup. 7th season for Coach Gallagher, 79-115. A graduate of St. Joseph's, a couple of 17-win seasons a few years ago. Hartford hoping to get back in the win column here after losing 3 straight. And on the other side, a former conference foe in the America East. Last year, Steve Pikiell at Stony Brook was 3-0 against Hartford. In year one, he's off to a 5-0 start. That's the best of any Rutgers head coach in their extensive history. Brian Dorsey to throw the ball up, underway in Piscataway. And the first possession belongs to Hartford. Barden to Rutgers.
And Hartford in the 2-3 zone. You'll see him in that zone most of the ball game. That's their strongest defense, and Rutgers not a very good outside shooting team.
Nearly poked away by Dunn. Sanders to the rack. Tipped out. Rebound grab by Jack Hobbs. Hartford team 1-4 on the season, 10-23 a season ago. Turned over, Sanders in transition. Freeman throws it down.
Well, Freeman's been playing terrific basketball. Good job by Sanders to get out in the open floor and push the pace.
Here's Jason Dunn, that double-double against Appalachian State. It was a defeat 70-61 on Wednesday night. Ross off on the jumper, Freeman the board. Lobbed into the post. C.J. Geddes stripped. J.R. Lynch, 5'10", point guard, dishing off, and Dunn off the mark. The rebound to Carroll.
And Hartford's got to be a little bit more patient in their offensive sets. We saw a quick shot by Ross as well as Dunn. They've got to force Rutgers to defend the entire 30 seconds of the shot clock.
Ross trying to create space. Instead, it's Carroll off the back of the rim. Another offensive rebound for a team that struggles to do that. Kick out for Hobbs. And a cold shooting start for Hartford.
Well, Wednesday's game in this building was a rock fight. Neither team could score the basketball. As Rutgers able to win against North Texas, but it was not pretty from the offensive standpoint.
Shams stops and pops. Didn't get the rim. The rebound by Freeman with 10 to shoot. His putback rolls in. A 4-0 lead for Rutgers.
And that's what Rutgers does. They get after it on the offensive glass. They lead the country in offensive rebounding right now. And as we said, that's changing the culture by Steve Pikiell. This is a team that last year was a bad rebounding team. Rebounding's all about effort.
Last year, -7 per game on the boards. The 3 off the mark from Carroll. Freeman, another rebound. That's his 4th of the game already. Laurent lost the handle, able to get it back, fouled in the lane by Jason Dunn.
But I like early on how Rutgers not settling for three-point shots, getting the ball to the deck, getting into gaps against the zone. Sometimes teams go zone and you're content to just let it fly. Instead, the Scarlet Knights being aggressive, getting into gaps.
Foul whistled on Carroll. And Jonathan Laurent goes to the line. Started the first 2 last year, and then he started the last 10. That off the back of the rim. And this is a coach in John Gallagher that knows his team needs to rebound a little bit better, and they've got a 6'10" transfer that should be available starting next game in Hassan Atiyah. He really thinks will change the game for his Hawks side.
And he is really high on him. He thinks he's got a chance to be a real impact player in the America East. We saw him warming up beforehand. He's got a good body, big, strong, but he's skilled, can move. He thinks he can be a difference maker.
Lynch, a nice pass. He gets the offensive miss. He's averaging 4 boards a game.
Remember, this is a Rutgers team that comes in at just under 20 a game on the plus side in rebounding margin against a team in Hartford that doesn't rebound the ball well at all. Go figure.
Minus 48 on the season. A 3 from Ross misfires. He's at 48% this year, but couldn't hit that. And the early drought continues for Hartford.
And for them to hang in this ball game, he's got to go off on the offensive end, which he's done a couple of times. He's already got 2 games in the young season with 30 or more, including 35 against Niagara.
Geddes, the 7-footer, drops that in the bucket. It's a 7-0 start for Rutgers.
And Rutgers will dominate points in the paint all game long like they've done all season. Hartford on the other side, with Atiyah still out with the 6-game suspension. Now, they've been poor as far as points in the paint are concerned.
Carroll, the hop step towards the perimeter. Ross with 7 to shoot from way downtown. He's got it.
Right on cue. As we said, he's got to be able to make some of those guarded deep threes for the Hawks to hang around.
Corey Sanders, the sophomore out of Florida. Geddes for Cham. Wide open, couldn't knock it down, and then Laurent whistled for the foul. But it's a good start for Rutgers. They've got a 7-3 lead, and it's C.J. Geddes out of Columbus, Ohio, the transfer from UNC Wilmington, willing it into the basket. 4 points. Scarlet Knights. And Steve Peichel in his first season, off to a 5-0 start, and he's off to a strong start again here today. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Good defense leading to offense.
Well, that's the key for them. They've held opponents to just 60 points per game. As we said at the start, they've changed the culture. This is a team that didn't guard and didn't rebound, and they're completely different this year. He thinks they've got a chance to be a really good defensive team, and for them to have a chance to win games in the Big Ten, they've got to be a terrific defensive team. They just don't have enough offensive firepower to outscore people at that level.
First turnover committed by Hartford. They've been getting their shots, they just haven't hit them yet. Nigel Johnson into the game at the top of the key. Leading scorer for this group, and coming off the bench, Mike Williams a close second, also off the bench and on the left wing. It's Freeman, tipped around, he's got his 5th rebound, and airballs the putback. Williams leaps in, a jump ball with Hobbs. Hartford will get the ball, but that's exactly what you're looking to see if you're Steve Peichel.
A good ball movement again against the zone. They're able to penetrate, get the ball inside. Nice interior passing, miss a chippy. But once again, Freeman relentless on the backboards. Little Moses Malone going on. He goes and gets his own miss.
Bit of pressure in the backcourt from Rutgers. Ross. Ross with the shot clock running down. He's going to have to try from long range again. He heaves. Out off the side rim. Johnson able to get the rebound as Dunn got a piece. Johnson from downtown.
Well, Johnson not known for his three-point shooting, just 19% on the season coming in, just his fourth make on the season.
Transfer from K-State. He's getting most of his action done inside, averaging 13 points a game. Dunn kicks out to Hobbs again and turned over by Hartford. Sa. This Mike Williams started 39 games over the last 2 years, but playing really well off the bench early. No reason to change for Steve Peichel.
And he credits Williams for buying in, not worrying about the fact that he's not starting.
Just 4 to shoot as Williams goes inside. Freeman able to finish on the baseline.
Well, I like the way Rutgers has played offensively, attacking the zone, not settling for three-point shots. They've gotten some good shots inside against this zone. They've missed a couple. That time they converted.
Just one made basket so far. This off the mark from Wilkerson. But Dunn able to keep it. Hartford 1 for 10 from the field to start. Hobbs will try from 3. Second made 3 of the game for Hartford.
And that time he stepped in with some confidence on the last closeout by Freeman. He tried to go by him and got it poked away.
Freeman attacking the zone. And Sa fouled.
Well, out of the 2-3 zone, Hartford will allow the ball into the high post. A lot of times you get an open look. What Rutgers has done is find a better shot by getting it in and then dumping the basketball down. That only gets through by the bounce pass. Good job to put it to the floor.
The foul against Dunn. Candido Sa out of Portugal going to the line. He's 4 for 4 this season at the charity stripe.
He's made a big impact at both ends of the floor. Last game out, he had 5 blocks, 9 block shots in the last 2 games. But he's a good offensive player. He's got good skills, can shoot the basketball. Anytime you're making that transition from the JUCO ranks to high-level Division I, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. But Steve Peichel likes the upside for Sa.
Averaged just a shade under 4 blocks a game at the community college level, and he's trying to make it translate here in the Big Ten and doing well in the out-of-conference part of the schedule. The lead is 7. Down goes Williams. Ross unable to connect.
A great job handling the basketball, literally broke ankles. Sat Williams down, had a wide open 3, just couldn't convert. And again, this from a guy that shot it at 48% from 3 coming in.
Omorui gets it outside. Williams unable to respond. Maybe it's those ankles. The rebound by Sa and a travel against the Portuguese junior.
Well, just because you see zone doesn't mean that you have to start throwing up threes. Rutgers has done a good job all game of penetrating against the zone defense, finding guys inside. One of the reasons why they're up 7.
As the Hawks 12 possessions, they've turned it over 3 times, just 2 for 12 from the field. And Jalen Ross might be the best point guard that Rutgers has seen all year, but he hasn't hit shots early.
No, Ross comes in averaging over 23 points per game. You see his percentage from beyond the 3-point line, but he's 1 for 5, including 1 for 4 from deep.
Ross had a stretch where he scored 85 points in 86 hours, 3 games played in that span. He really can fill it up, but he's coming off a game in which he managed just 13. That put in by Blagojevich.
And that's the first backdoor cut that they've been able to convert. Nice feed out of the high post by Carroll.
Blagojevich had started the first 4 games of the season, comes off the bench, 4 in red. Amorui whistled for a second travel. As many possessions for Rutgers. We spoke with Steve Peichel, and he said everyone's trying to stop Jalen Ross, which makes it all the more impressive that he's managed to put up 23 points a game and shoot as well as he has.
Well, he really came on at the end of last season when he put up terrific numbers coming down the stretch in America East play,
including 21 and 7 against Stony Brook in March. So Steve Peichel well aware. Nigel Johnson. Williams inside. Off the side rim, another offensive rebound. Tipped away by Carroll. That goes off the side of his face, and Williams gets another possession back.
A good hustle by Trey Wilkinson to go get the basketball, but there's no rush. You're not the team that's trying to score in transition. You got to take care of the basketball.
Johnson hits the 3, and Rutgers is 2 for 4 from downtown after going 3 for 20 last time out.
And just 1 for 12 in that first half when they really struggled to score the ball against North Texas and their zone D.
Carroll steps to the baseline, unable to connect. Rebound tipped out to Johnson. Again, right in the middle of the zone, kicks out Williams. Can't hit that triple try.
Yeah, some zones will try and pinch and keep the basketball out of the high post. Hartford, they invite the ball into the high post.
Ross hits his second 3 of the game. It's just a 5-point lead for Rutgers as Hartford beginning to warm up.
And for the Hawks, with as many shots as they've missed here at the beginning of the game, got to be happy to be down just 5.
The nice backdoor pass is slapped away by Wilkinson, who's really made his bones rebounding and defensively thus far. Into the corner. Andrew Ramirez couldn't keep it in play. A series of changes coming for Rutgers.
And you know that'll be a short rest for Ross. Ross, despite the slow start, he's got 2 of those 3 3-pointers that Hartford's been able to connect on.
Both teams have turned the ball over 5 times. Freeman knocked away by Blagojevich. Blagojevich putting on the moves and kicks out to Hobbs. That 3 is good.
Well, they've gotten a good effort off the bench by Blagojevich as well as Wilkerson, 2 guys that John Gallagher has challenged recently because they have not been playing well.
So Hartford beginning to really shoot the basketball well, 4 of 11 from 3. And the lead just 2 points, and you can see that Hartford huddle, just a few more smiles, and Jason Dunn seems plenty excited at the center of that huddle with a very excitable coach in John Gallagher leading the way. Hobbs knocks down the 3. Just a 2-point game. Hobbs and Hartford warming up. Steve Peichel wanted a timeout. His team thinking over an 11-4 run in favor of the Hawks, as the 3-point shooting for Hartford has certainly woken up after what may have been a turkey-induced slumber yesterday.
And Rutgers kicking the basketball all around. 6 turnovers here in the first half. They got to take care of the basketball against the zone.
Freeman, a high pass that Sanders able to corral. Johnson goes to his right, forces that up. Freeman whistled as Hobbs gave him a push. A 16-14 lead for Rutgers in Piscataway at the rack for a post-Thanksgiving meeting between a team from the America East, one of the 5 undefeated teams in the Big Ten. Best start for Rutgers in 15+ years. As Sanders goes to the hole. Tipped away, Hobbs grabs the rebound and the long outlet pass. Blagojevich has that roll off the front. Wilkerson put back by Dunn.
Hartford, after that slow start, they've got some energy and they've gotten it off the bench.
Under the basket, Freeman fouled by Wilkerson.
Well, Hartford's not going to get out in transition a whole lot this game, but when they do, able to convert, even on the miss, good hustle to keep it alive. Trey Wilkerson has made an impact after being challenged recently by John Gallagher. Last couple of games, he's been playing really limited minutes. He wasn't happy with his effort. He was taking too many outside shots. Play to your strength. Go rebound, run, defend. And Wilkerson's done that off the bench for the Hawks.
A couple of rebounds, and of course that assist. Didn't play at all against Appalachian State on Wednesday night as Nigel Johnson takes a seat.
And as a coach, you never know how that's going to go the next time out, right? Is he going to respond? Is he going to come on out and be up to the challenge? So far, Wilkerson's been up to that challenge.
So a 1-point lead for Rutgers, snaps an 8-0 run under the basket. Drop back to Blagojevich from just inside the free throw line. Hartford has the lead, their first lead of the game.
As we said, Blagojevich as well coming off the bench. He was in the starting lineup, got pulled because he wasn't playing well. This is a guy who had a real good freshman year last year when he averaged just under 10 a game. They expected more from him. He wasn't producing. Now all of a sudden maybe a wake-up call coming out of the starting lineup.
And Williams turns it over on the travel. That's the 7th turnover for Rutgers. Issa Chom returns it, and you mentioned it earlier that if you're John Gallagher, you're really happy that you start the game 2 for 11 from the field and you're only down single digits. And then you start shooting the ball a little better. And Hartford is 5 for their last 9 since that point. Hobbs from way outside. Lynch steps in and grabs the board. Setting up Dunn. Off the front of the rim, Freeman got a piece and bounds it off the baseline. Hartford will keep it.
Well, the Hawks not known for their rebounding. They're showing good effort on the offensive glass for John Gallagher.
Team that's 315th in average height in Division I. They average about 6'5". And this is a big Rutgers team. Lynch off the front of the rim. Blagojevich skies in, but this time Freeman able to control it. He's got 7 points and 7 boards. Geddes for Chom. Long rebound to Lynch. And Lynch will take it himself. That's slapped off the backboard by Freeman. Sanders in transition and slapped away by Hobbs. Back up the floor comes Hartford. It's Lynch, Blagojevich. Setting up, Dunn. Off the front of the rim, and he'll slow down as Chom controls.
Well, a couple of missed opportunities there for Hartford. That was a good straight-on look from Dunn.
Sanders for Geddes, who's given room in the middle. He gets it to go in, and the foul.
On those entries into the high post, Rutgers mostly looking to distribute the basketball. That time, Geddes taking advantage of his size. A much smaller Hartford team. As you see on the back line of the zone defense, Wilkerson on the slap. And you can't just slap against Geddes. He's too big, strong, and physical in the post.
So Geddes to the stripe. guy who a lot of people think could be a fan favorite here in his one season. A transfer from UNC Wilmington. A 7-footer who just finds his way to the floor more often than not as he'll check out. Johnson and Saw return for Rutgers. So the Scarlet Knights pull back in front. Lynch able to beat the pressure from Johnson. Lynch, the shot fake and the drive. Kicked out to Carroll. He's got 4 seconds to create. Spins inside, and the putback is good.
Well, Carroll puts pressure on the defense, forces the rotation, so there's no block out on the weak side for the easy putback.
Max Twyman coming off the bench, getting involved. Only played 4 minutes against Appalachian State, averaging under a point a game. Saw spinning in the paint. Chom along the baseline, leaves it for Saw, who's fouled from behind by Carroll.
A nice play by Chom. You can see why Rutgers so excited about the freshman. He's got terrific shooting ability, so guys need to run at him. He's got a high motor. Nice dump off inside.
That touched the rim twice, but Saw couldn't put it in. Amarui returns. Amarui, a guy where you're trying to figure out where he plays in this team. That's the case for a lot of these guys. What position do they really play their best ball at? Missed them both.
And that's one of the things that Steve Peichel and his staff are trying to recruit. Versatile players that can play multiple positions. And they've got some long, athletic guys. That's one of the reasons why Steve Peichel thinks they've got a chance to be a really good defensive team. Mental mistake there as Lynch just lost track of time. 10-second violation on the turnover.
The lead has evaporated for Rutgers, tied at 20, under 4 to go in the first half. Rutgers has led by as many as 9 points, but Hartford storming back an 8-0 run, keying a run back to 20-20 with under 4 minutes to go in this first half. And Rob Kennedy, just too many turnovers from Rutgers right now. 8 turnovers, and that's got to drive a coach crazy. It's got to make John Gallagher ecstatic.
Oh, it's their zone defense. They're forcing the ball into the middle of the paint at the high post, but Rutgers has not been comfortable. They've had too many turnovers. A lot of those have been in the paint against the zone defense because guys just haven't been comfortable catching it in the high post and being able to attack.
We talked to Steve Peichel before the game. Are you used to the zone that Hartford's going to run? Clearly he saw it last year when he coached Stony Brook, but said we've seen a lot of it. They just haven't responded well yet. Amarui leaning back and floating that into the net.
Oh, he's got such a long wingspan, able to convert over top easily.
Carroll coming off that ACL injury last year, maybe 70%. That's all he needed to score there.
And they're hoping to get him back to 100%. John Gallagher said he's not there yet, but they're hoping and expecting him to be back by the time they get into league play in January.
Far from a finished product, this Hartford Hawk team through 5 and nearly a half games. Amarui sets the screen, comes flying in to get the offensive miss. The jump ball belongs to Rutgers.
Well, if you're going to offensive rebound, 2 things have to happen. A, you got to miss shots. And Steve Peichel said we give ourselves a lot of offensive rebounding opportunities because we miss it, but you've got to be active, you've got to go after it, and then you've got to have some athletes. You see right there, Amarui going over top of everybody to force that.
So the shot clock has been reset to 2. You've got some athletic guys who can get to the basket. Is this a quick touch in, a little tap?
Well, it's got to be a catch and shoot. Doesn't have to be at the rim. It can be on the perimeter. But with 2 seconds left, you don't. Well, now they've reset it back to 29. So forget that thought.
So Sanders inbounds and Issa Cham, the freshman from Senegal.
And Hartford now into the man-to-man off the baseline out of bounds.
Sanders setting up Freeman. That'll count and one.
Oh, Freeman, as we said, has been a double-double guy 3 times here in their first 5 games. He just clears space inside. You can see why his injury last year was such a big impact for this Rutgers team. His ability to rebound the basketball and score it inside. Good strength to go right through the contact.
Unable to hit the free throw, though. Ross creates some space and hits.
And if he gets space, he'll deliver. After that slow start when he was just 1 of 4 from 3, starting to heat back up and get to his season averages. Again, just about 50% on the season from 3.
He's got 9 points. He's averaging 23 on the young season. Freeman spins. Cham, left corner pocket. That nearly went in. Sa leaps in and is fouled.
Well, Cham's had a lot of good looks over top of the zone defense, and with his size, a 6'9" shooter's hard to close out on. He just hasn't been able to get them to fall.
That's the 7th team foul against Hartford. Rutgers just 1 foul, a team that prides themselves on their ability to defend without conceding too many fouls.
It was interesting talking to Steve Peichel. He talked about the fact that he brings Johnson and Williams off the bench. He said one reason is he doesn't want guys getting in foul trouble, and so they've been able to manage that. As you said, just 1 foul here so far. They're the team playing man-to-man. You'd expect them to be a little bit more aggressive. On the other side, it's Hartford with their zone defense, but Hartford's picked up a bunch of those fouls just trying to hang in there on the defensive backboards.
Off the front of the rim, and the free throw shooting struggles continue. 5 of 12 now for the game. Ross into the lane, turned over to Sanders. Freeman front running and slams it down with authority.
Well, that's when Corey Sanders is at his best, using his quickness. He could be a lockdown defender on this end of the floor. And when he gets out and runs, that's when Rutgers can get things going offensively.
As loud as the rack has been all day. Bogojevich has a bit of space, and the floater is good.
He's been impressive off the bench, showing the basketball because he's a good three-point shooter, so you got to run at him. The ability to finish it inside.
Williams, no points yet, and he's still scoreless. Long rebound, and John Carroll driving the basket, blocked from behind by Freeman.
Second time he's come from behind.
Sanders pushing the action. He's still scoreless. The rebound by Dunn.
Well, he was trying to force the contact, but smart play by Lynch to just back completely out of the way so he didn't pick up the foul.
A timeout, and Hartford feeling pretty good about themselves right now. But a couple of big momentum swinging plays from Freeman, who's been all over the floor for Rutgers. And Steve Peichel must be ecstatic with what he's getting from the really athletic player. 11 points, 7 rebounds, and those big blocks.
And twice we've seen him cover a ton of ground to come out of nowhere for a block, but both times Rutgers unable to convert out in transition.
Freeman, a guy who really struggled last year. He was suspended during his rehabilitation from a knee injury. Missed the last 25 games, and Steve Peichel's office has a couple of glass doors. An article came out a couple of weeks ago about Freeman being in that office every single day, and that those glass doors, the fact that you can see through them, see coach working, only helped him really buy into what Steve Peichel's trying to do.
And as we said, you come into a program that struggled won just 7 games, 1-17 in the Big Ten last year. First thing you got to do is change everybody's mindset. His players have bought in, but it has started with that work ethic, toughness from Steve Pikiell.
Williams has that glance off his fingertips. It belongs to Hartford.
And another wasted opportunity by a good defensive play by Sanders to get everything started.
9th turnover by Rutgers. Hartford has 8. And the shot clock turned off here to end the first half.
And Hartford content to let some time go. They'll hold for the last shot.
Hartford losers of 3 straight. Turning the corner, Lynch. Airmails that over, done and out of play. 7.6 to go, plenty of time for Rutgers.
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword right there. A, you go too soon, so you leave too much time, and then an errant pass. That didn't go 2 rows up, that went about 6 rows up.
It's Sanders with 3. That blocked at the horn by Dunn. And he didn't get a little bit of the ball. He got all of the ball, blocking Nigel Johnson as the clock ran out.
They got ball, but a little body down low. Steve Pikiell didn't like it. Much like they did the last game, Rutgers struggles offensively in the first half.
Can they turn the corner? Can Hartford continue to shoot as well as they have over the final 10 minutes of the first half? 27 apiece. Freeman, a couple dunks, a couple big blocks. Ross hitting from 3 times, and Rutgers and Hartford are even at 27 after the first half. Stats, highlights, a look around the Big Ten coming up. Big Ten on ESPN. Second half of play, just seconds away from the rack in Piscataway, New Jersey, and it's 27-27 between unbeaten Rutgers and Hartford of the America East. The Hartford team that started down, quickly recovered, shot the ball well to end the first half, and a Rutgers team that turned the ball over 9 times and only have a slight rebounding edge where typically they've been terrific this year. On to the second half. Ross 9 points on 3 triples. Hobbs 6 points on 2 3-point makes. Freeman has 11 as he nears a double-double. 11 and 7 in the first half for Rutgers.
Yeah, 2 biggest stats that jump out at you are the rebounding numbers. Rutgers with just a 2-rebound advantage. John Gallagher will take that any day of the week. You told him coming in, hey, you'd only be out rebounded by 2, and as well that you'd only get beat up by points in the paint, 16-12. He would have taken both of those. And then finally bench points, which have been such a big part of what Rutgers has done all season long. They've got just a 10-8 advantage so far.
Issa Cham finally getting on the board from downtown. Rutgers is 3 for 9 from long range.
It was 0 for 4 in that first half, but had some good looks over top the zone.
Bounced outside, kept in by Ross. Great first half from downtown. Dunn stepping to the baseline and knocks down the jumper.
Well, Dunn is an athletic shooter, gets off the ground. In a relatively quiet first half off of the career high 22 last time out.
0 for 3 from 3, 2 for 2 from 2. Cham does it again.
And the exact same spot, so they've gotten him into the corner. Late closeout to get there just a little late by Hobbs.
Issa Cham shooting 36% from 3-point. Carroll can't hit. Cham grabs the rebound. Tipped away by Lynch. As Ross to his right, he takes it himself, he rolls it in, and the foul.
Just too many wasted possessions by Rutgers. If you can't get a shot up, you're not going to be able to score the basketball. Double-digit turnovers. And again, it's out of the 2-3 zone. Sloppy passing as Lynch just able to get into the passing lane. It's one thing if a team's trapping, getting up, getting in your face, forcing turnovers, but some of these have been unforced turnovers.
J.R. Lynch hits the free throw. He's now 14 of 15 at the free throw line this season.
That's the first foul shot all game for the Hawks.
Geddes finding Freeman up and puts it in.
A good ball fake. The one guy that's been more comfortable handling the basketball in the high post against the zone has been Geddes. He's been able to score it a couple of times himself and been able to find teammates.
Ross turns the corner, steps back on Laurent.
Now that's a scorer right there, a guy that can do it in a lot of different ways. Good step back to create the space.
We might be in for a really good second half here if Ross can continue to hit like this. He is a fun player to watch and maybe the best point guard through 6 games Rutgers has seen. And you couldn't do that twice if you tried. Laurent with the held ball to stay with Rutgers with 13 to shoot as of now. Although, of course, it did hit the rim. They bring it up to 30.
Now on the floor. Go! Stay in check! Stay in check!
Sanders finds Chom. This time he drives. He kicks it back to Freeman, who's fouled by Carroll. Carroll picks up his second personal.
Well, Freeman's been so active. His energy, he's a crafty guy around the rim, able to finish this time. He didn't finish because of the contact. But Rutgers continues to put the ball on the floor to try and get gaps against the zone.
Freeman out of Hutchinson Community College in Kansas, a native of North Carolina. Really played well for Steve Peichel today, averaging 10 and about 9, and he's certainly on pace to do that and more in both categories by the time this one's done. Dunn will try a 3. Tie game.
And when he makes threes, he's a really tough matchup, especially in the America East. At 6'4", and he gets off the floor. Hard to get out and challenge him from deep.
Coming off a career-high 22. Here's a guy who still has no points, Mike Williams. Averaged 12.5 a game last year, averaging 11.5 so far this year. And Williams throwing that pass into the post. 4 left on the shot clock. Williams getting up off the floor. He and Dunn rushing into the front row.
Nigel Johnson enters for Rutgers.
So the ball stays with Rutgers, but they've got 4 to shoot. Geddes returns. Freeman will take a seat. Here's Johnson, finds Geddes, the long jumper off the front of the rim, and now Williams blocked by Carroll, but he's fouled.
And if you're Hartford, you just got to finish off possessions. You know that Rutgers not a great shooting team. You get the shot clock down as it hits the buzzer. You got to block out and finish things off. There's a good challenge, but you see the good work on the offside there to just create space by Sa. He just took Dunn and rushed him up the lane to create the space for the offensive board.
Williams finally on the board. He's got a point, a rebound, and an assist. Out of Bishop Laughlin High School in Brooklyn. 6'2" junior guard.
And as you said, averaged double figures last year. A good solid performer for the Scarlet Knights.
And he commits the foul as Jalen Ross got a piece of that, and the two colliding.
And Williams came down hard. He's grabbing his back. Good hustle to get after his own miss. But he's the guy that's called for the foul.
Williams really looking like he took the brunt of that, holding his lower back on his way off the floor.
Corey Sanders enters for Rutgers. George Blagojevich for Hartford.
It almost looked like the Hartford player came down and landed on his back. I thought maybe he had twisted it, but instead it may have just been the contact of him going to the floor and then the player coming on top of him.
One possession game. Ross off the right side of the rim. Saw grabs the rebound.
Yeah, for anybody else, that's a bad shot, but for Ross, he's got the ability to convert those.
He's a guy who has to do that consistently to consistently win. Cham consistently hitting from there. He's got 3 threes from that spot in this half and nearly led the ball back the other way, but stepped out of bounds.
Oh, showing you his upside potential, his ability to make threes, as you said, all 3 of them from the deep left corner. He's got a little X over there. That's his spot. Credit Geddes for finding him. When he's had the basketball in the high post, their offense has looked so much better because he's been more comfortable with the basketball in his hands there at the foul line area.
Cham just 1 of 6 from 3 against North Texas, but he's responded here against Hartford. Trio of triples in the half. Blagojevic for Carroll, wearing that hefty right knee brace. Ross late in the shot clock again. Shake and bake. Off the back of the rim, tipped by Dunn. Geddes has the rebound.
And good defense by Sanders as he got out and challenged him.
Cham again.
That was the wrong side, right side. It's the left side corner that he's got down pat.
Lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. Appears to fit with the rim as well. That kicked out. It'll stay with Hartford. Cham drilling from downtown. Fans ecstatic. The lead for Rutgers is 4. Issa Cham making it look like practice from the left corner in the second half.
As we said, he's found his spot and found his mark after struggling from 3 against North Texas. He's been able to step right into him. Give Geddes credit. You see, he's the guy that assists on these 2. The big guy more comfortable in the high post, and apparently Cham real comfortable in the left corner.
3 for 4 from downtown in the half after going 0 for 3 in the first half. He's got 9 points now. Both teams 4 for 8 from the field in this second half, but Rutgers converting at the free throw line and from 3 to take a 4-point lead. How will Carroll respond? And the Irish native using the window.
Yeah, he's been struggling to score the basketball. I'm not quite sure he called bank on that, but he'll take it.
Is that open the day after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's got to be. How else are you going to pay for all those Black Friday purchases?
That's right. Freeman finding Johnson. That tipped away by Lynch.
And Johnson, their leading scorer, has been a non-factor so far today.
Lynch taking it all the way. Freeman got a hand on it, but Nigel Johnson appeared to get a push in. That's his first.
And Lynch has been a big surprise for Hartford so far this season, showing you his toughness, turning the corner. Played his high school basketball right here in New Jersey at Hudson Catholic, one of the top high school programs in Jersey, and then PG'd at St. Andrew's School up in Rhode Island for Mike Hart.
Ross returns for Dunn. And J.R. Lynch, everyone said he wasn't a D1 player. He was a 5'6" high school junior. He's now generously listed at 5'10", but he seems to thrive on being told what he cannot do. Came from a tough background, and he's really been a revelation for this Hartford team. He started more games than he hasn't in his short career. Back even at 41. Geddes finishes.
Well, when he's at the high post, their offense has been much better.
And that seems like a pretty drastic change from the first half.
Yeah, when he's caught it in the first half, he had a couple of finishes himself in the paint, found teammates. He's done the same thing here in this second half.
Travel against Ross. Rutgers takes over. That's the 11th turnover for Hartford. Nigel Johnson, the K-State transfer. Sanders. Williams from the left side. Johnson will give it a go. Rattled all the way around. Blagojevich the board.
So after hitting those first couple of 3 points, shots over top of the zone, they've got nothing from their leading scorer, Nigel Johnson.
Dunn continues to hit from downtown. Hartford's got the lead.
Well, the Jersey guy coming back and making good. Former All-Shore player from Matawan High School has been playing very well as of late.
What a finish that is from Sanders.
Able to avoid the contact, acrobatic finish. And Sanders played well in that first half. He didn't score it, but he had 5 assists, just 1 turnover. That's what they're looking for from him. Now, last year he was their leading scorer, scored nearly 16 a game, led all Big Ten freshmen in points, steals, and assists. But it's a different role for him this year because he's got some other guys that can score the basketball.
Although when he was in high school, USA Today called him the most entertaining player. That was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, top 100 recruit coming out of high school. Greg Vitrone, who's now still on the staff, did a great job in recruiting him.
Thrown underneath, and Wilkerson able to put it in.
Oh, good catch in traffic by Wilkerson. Both he and Blagojevich have given him scoring and energy off the bench.
Tipped away by Dunn, who leaps onto the front chair.
Well, we're going back and forth here a little bit. Dunn with a good deep challenge 3 as Hartford's hanging around. And then the acrobatic finish with the right hand as he avoids contact going to the left. That's a difficult shot and finish for Sanders.
Cham, not that time. Karam for Dunn, who steps into a 3. That's good. He knew it. He was already halfway down the floor.
Oh yeah, and Hartford, a team that usually will take some time off during possessions. When you've got some confidence and things are going your way, you're not afraid to push the pace.
The Matawan, New Jersey native really cashing in here in the second half in his return to the Garden State. 4-point lead for Hartford. And Jason Dunn at the center of the action, stepping into the 3 and celebrating all the way down. In favor of Hartford, and Rutgers very much on the ropes here. Some fans a little bit nervous now. It seemed like Rutgers got off to a perfect start, but a 3 for 6 second half for Hartford from 3, and they feel they're very much a part of this one now.
Well, we said at the beginning, and Steve Peichel knew the same thing. If Hartford was going to hang in there, they were going to have to make threes and survive on the backboards. They've been able to do both.
Nigel Johnson. Sanders, oh, what a finish, but it won't count. An offensive foul.
Well, Sanders showing you his athletic ability as he attacks the rim here. He got by him on the side. I'm surprised. Usually you got to go chest to chest to get that charge call. That took away a pretty finish for the Scarlet Knights.
Hartford has made their last 4 from the field, including a couple of 3s for Jason Dunn. Leaning in and getting the contact is Ross. He's going to the line.
Well, Ross is so quick with the basketball, able to get where he wants. Because he's such a good scorer, you know that guys are going to be all over him. Ball fake gets him to the foul line.
So a short stint on the floor. Both teams retreat to the benches. Hartford's lead remains 4. 49-45, Hartford ahead of Rutgers. And Hartford getting scoring from all the right places. If Ross and Dunn hit, this is a Hartford team that can contend in the America East.
Yeah, those are their 2 leading scorers, and they've been riding them, especially here in the second half. They really started slow shooting the basketball, were just 7 of their first 26. Since then, they've really heated up. 8 for 17 since then. That's been a big turnaround.
Ross makes the first of 2 as he was fouled on a jump shot right before the timeout. John Gallagher saying that the best days are still ahead of this team, ahead of this program. He really thinks there's a lot of upside potential, not only for this team, but the group that he has coming in behind them next year. And they've got a 6-point lead, their biggest lead of the game here against Rutgers. Ross picks up his first personal away from the ball. Hartford losers of 3 straight. Last year they lost 7 games in a row and 6 games in a row in different stretches. They're hoping to make sure that this season doesn't become defined in a similar way. Nigel Johnson from the corner. Geddes has the board, but looked like he pushed off.
Well, he did, and the officials caught him as well. Well, if Hartford's going to continue this run that they've got, it's got to be behind the strength of their backcourt. Jalen Ross at 23 a game, as well as Jason Dunn, who has found the hot hand here in the second half.
The team 7th against Rutgers, and it's Hartford going to the line as Andrew Ramirez was fouled in the backcourt on the inbound. Andrew Ramirez, 7 of 10 from the free throw line this year.
And remember, Hartford didn't get to the foul line at all in the first half, as Rutgers had just 1 foul deep into that first half. Here in the second half, a lot of whistles against the Scarlet Knights.
Sanders with the runner. So Ramirez missed the front end of a 1-and-1, and he's on the ball now. This Rutgers crowd really getting loud at the rack.
Well, sensing that their team needs a little help, a little energy, and the fans respond.
Poked away from Ross, who recovers and kicks out. Dunn for 3.
I'll tell you what, he let go of that basketball. His hands came down. He didn't even finish it with the follow-through. He knew it was good the moment it left his hands.
He's done that a couple of times here today, and all of a sudden, this lead is stretched out to 7. Sa really struggling to hang on. Blagojevich takes it away.
Yeah, Geddes put it right where it needed to be. Again, playing through the big guy. Big guy playing a little point center in that zone O.
Oh, that's terrific. This Hartford team really feeling it now.
Well, sometimes when you let somebody hang around, they start making some shots. Right now, Hartford stretching it out to 9 points. What did John Gallagher tell you yesterday? That the stars, planets, moons all had to be aligned. Well, apparently everything's aligned right now for Hartford.
An 11-2 run for the Hawks, who last season were 10-23. They lose Pancake Thomas to graduation, 18 points a game, but they knew they were returning 6 that were in their rotation. John Carroll was injured with that ACL injury, and then Twyman comes in, but Ross is getting it done. He's finding Dunn. Well done.
Now that's the way to play off each other. Nearly turned it over. Instead, you get deep into a gap, find a teammate, as well as being able to call your own number. It's always nice when your guards can score the basketball. It's one thing to distribute, get everybody in. Scoring point guards are really hard to defend. Ross and Steve Peichel said it. He said he'll be the best guard that we've played against in our first 6 games. He certainly has been.
Sanders taking contact. Geddes is fouled. His wrist slapped. He's going to the free throw line.
And when we talked to Steve Peichel, he said this is different for our team. We don't know how to handle winning. We're 5-0. Everybody's happy. And Giddy said this is new territory for these guys. He said my biggest concern is, are we going to be focused? It's our second game in 3 days. Hartford, a quick turnaround with just 1 day. They'd run a lot of different things. That's part of growing and learning how to become a winning program. Is not just how do you win games, but how do you handle winning. So far, Rutgers a little flat.
guys like this help. Geddes was in the NCAA tournament last year. UNC Wilmington transferring in. It's Hartford basketball. But when you listen to Steve Peichel, he said, I can see the train coming down the tracks, and I'm trying to tell these guys that you're 5-0, but you have to take it one game at a time. Last year at Stony Brook, as this ball poked away, Sanders taking it back, throwing it underneath. Issa Cham. He can shoot, and boy, can he dunk. And now Sanders had a hand in the pocket of Jalen Ross. 8th team foul. Ross will shoot free throws.
Well, here's the athleticism. Quick hands of Sanders. Great play to go to the floor, and presence of mind to find the wide open teammate as Chom finishes it with a nice two-handed flush.
He'll come off, getting a good round of applause. Jalen Ross going to the free throw line. He hits the first. A redshirt senior, Jalen Ross, out of Greenbelt, Maryland. His father, Frank, 1,900 points at American University. Both his father and his grandfather were drafted into the NBA. And Jalen Ross has continued what is a torrid start to the 2016-17 campaign.
Yeah, 20 consecutive games going back to that stretch to finish last season in double figures, so he's been really consistent as well.
6 points for Johnson. Here's Cham. He was held up by Blagojevich. Team 5th. Geddes will come off, and he really turned the tide a bit for Rutgers in the early going of this half, but Hartford has responded. So Freeman will be in the middle of this Hartford zone. Johnson rearranging in midair. Doesn't get it to go, but he will go to the line.
Well, second time we've seen Johnson force it up once he thought he had contact. Last time, no whistle. This time he gets it.
Another player with a father with professional athletic history. This off the front of the rim. Son of Sidney Johnson, played in the NFL. Set the Virginia State High School assist record as a junior out of Ashburn, Virginia at Riverdale Baptist. He finished out as a high school senior. 7-point game. Blagojevich finding Dunn, who cuts to the basket and scores.
Well, that's where the one day of prep really hurts you. John Gallagher likes to spread the floor, use those back cuts as much as possible.
Williams losing his footing. Johnson finding Freeman under the basket. Foul by Carroll, who picks up his third personal.
Well, when you're overplayed, you go back door. You got to overplay Jason Dunn because he's shooting it so well. See him set his man up. Good job to find him on the back door, but it all starts by walking the guy out. Good plant, go back door. Good job by Jason Dunn, and as well by Blagojevich to find him.
Jonathan Laurent returns. Rebound by Carroll. Rutgers isn't helping themselves in the easy categories. A lot of turnovers and a lot of missed free throws.
And they survived the first half with those missed foul shots. Rutgers showing zone for the first time tonight.
Trying to stem off Hartford, who have made their last 7 from the field.
You got to find Dunn as well as Ross out of the zone, though.
Carroll finding Ross with 3 to shoot. Blagojevich didn't realize the shot clock was winding down.
A good job by Steve Peichel to mix things up defensively. Last couple of possessions, Hartford's in a big-time offensive rhythm. They got the back door. They've been able to get shots they want. You give them a little bit of a different look. Hartford was caught flat-footed.
Nearly caught flat-footed again. The passes along the perimeter have gotten a bit lazy from Rutgers, in truth, and Dunn nearly made him pay.
And as we said, they've had a lot of unforced turnover.
Blagievich takes his seat. Nigel Johnson controls. $16 points for Freeman. Johnson slips down. That would have been impressive if he got it to go. Saw has the miss. Johnson, 7 points. The leading scorer coming off the bench. Saw from the free throw line, stepping back, using his height. And the rebound by Jack Hobbs.
And that was a reluctant shot from Shaw, just not comfortable in the high post area.
Dunn is very rarely scared to shoot. That time he tried the pump fake and ended up stepping towards the sideline. Looks like a foul here against Rutgers. Sean picks up the foul. Hartford by 8. Is how is your season going? The first answer, Hassan Atia hasn't even played yet, but the centerpiece of this zone, a 6'10 Egyptian who committed in December from community college, and they think the world of his ability.
And you can see him warming up here in pregame. He's a big body, he's got good skills, can step it out, and defensively, he controls the paint. He led all of junior college last year in block shots, a member of the Egyptian national team, sitting out suspended 6 games by the NCAA for a clearinghouse issue. They're going to be happy to get him back in their next game at North Texas.
Sanders turning the corner. Knocked around, rebound to Carroll, and a foul in the backcourt goes against Amarui.
And Rutgers got to be smart. You can't keep sending Hartford to the foul line. Well, Sanders trying to push the pace, goes right at Carroll, but Carroll backs off, much like we saw in the first half when Lynch backed up when Sanders really attacked. He's attacking thinking he's going to get contact, but as the defender just backs up, it's like a matador. You pull that cape or whatever it is, and now all of a sudden there is no contact.
You're saying that Rutgers is seeing red?
Yeah, they are seeing red right now. Down 8, time starting to chip away.
Hartford was 7 of 8 from the free throw line, missed 2 straight, and then knocked that one down. That could be huge. They're now 8 of 11 for the game. Rutgers just 11 for 22 from the free throw line. Freeman under the basket converts.
And still plenty of time for Rutgers if they can string a couple of field goals together. The only way you do that is by coming up with some stops. Rutgers back into the 2-3 zone.
5-0 to start the season. A tough game at Miami coming up. Lynch, 4-3.
Well, after struggling the first possession that they attacked the 2-3 zone, better ball movement by Hartford, and Lynch only 2 of 8 from beyond the 3-point line coming into the season. Not a guy you usually have to worry about out on the perimeter. Extends the lead to double digits with under 7 to play.
He's got 8 points in the game. Made that look easy, and a big grin from the 5'10" and the word was leader, and you can see him in the huddle there. He's a guy that wasn't expected to be a D1 player, and he hit a bit of a growth spurt as a high school junior. Went from 5'6" to about 5'10", and he's the talkative leader in this group.
And what he does is he doesn't turn the basketball over. He's got just 4 turnovers in their first 5 games. But right there, the biggest 3 that he's hit all season.
Hartford, incredibly, has not missed a field goal in 9 minutes. 8 straight from the field.
And this against the Rutgers team that has been really solid defensively all season long.
Hartford shooting 49% on the night now. Thrown under the basket. Freeman gets his own miss. The hands were up from Dunn, but looks like he'll be guilty of the foul.
Second straight possession. They've got good high-low action. Getty's able to dump it down to Freeman.
18 points and 8 rebounds today for Deshaun Freeman, the captain for this group. Out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, had 6 offensive rebounds in a 15-board performance against North Texas on Wednesday. And an offensive rebound is why he got to the line and has cut the deficit to 7. Barton an 8-point game.
And now Rutgers back to the man-to-man defense. More comfortable, putting pressure on the basketball, but now they've got to get some stops.
Carroll tries the right side of the ladder. Lynch behind the back. Shot clock to 3. Lynch heaves at the horn.
Well, you can't play the possession any better defensively than Rutgers. Every once in a while, though, you just run into a hot team. Hartford didn't look hot to start it. They were down 7-0, looked like they were going to get blown out of the gym. But apparently the sun, the moon, the stars, everything started aligning. 10 consecutive field goals for the Hawks.
Freeman was pushed out of bounds. That's the 9th personal on Hartford. Rutgers has 10, so both teams will be in the double bonus after this point.
Well, shot clock winded down. Nearly turned the basketball over. Instead, Lynch turns it into back-to-back threes. He had 2 threes on the season coming in. He's got them in 2 consecutive possessions, and that one was a dagger.
11 for 24 from three-point land as Freeman goes to the line. He hits the first of the 1-and-1. Rutgers really struggling at the free throw line. Now 14 of 25, 56%. Amarui checks out. Deshaun Freeman up to 21 points. Ten-point game.
Hartford, an incredibly efficient 13 from 17 from the field here in the second half. Rutgers got to lock down and get something done defensively.
The kick out. Hobbs hits again. Hartford can't miss. Wow. They've got a lot to be thankful for the day after Thanksgiving. Sanders hangs, can't hit, the putback good.
Getty's pulled his hand away initially so he didn't get an offensive basket interference. Instead, on the second attempt, tipped it in.
The basket will end up going to Freeman. He's got a career-high 23 points, matching the game nearly a year ago today against Central Arkansas. The miss is rebounded by Wilkerson. Shot clock down to 5. Lynch, step back. And finally, a miss. Long run out. Williams puts it in.
And Rutgers desperately needed that. On a made field goal, they'll take the timeout.
Mike Williams, a much-needed deuce. Brings it back inside double digits. Hartford shooting the lights out. Hobbs from downtown. He's got 9. Williams trying to will Rutgers back in. Hartford ahead by 9 in Piscataway, New Jersey. The rack certainly buzzing the day after Thanksgiving. A 5-0 Rutgers team that received a vote in the AP poll. Really feeling good about themselves, but right now it's all Hartford. Steve Peichel's group going to have to find a way to rebound over the last 4 minutes. John Gallagher's team may just do what many probably thought unlikely, if not improbable, if not impossible today. Lynch carries into the front court. It's been over 11 and a half minutes, nearly 11 and a half minutes, pardon, that Hartford went without a field goal miss. Dunn circling around, knocked away from Hobbs. Freeman trying to scoop and score. Instead, it's Sanders inside. That'll count. And he's going to the line.
Well, it all started on the other end with the defensive possession. Hartford trying to work some clock, and why not? You got yourself a lead under 4 minutes. But the defense by Rutgers, we've seen quick hands by the likes of Sanders. This time it's Freeman who starts it, and Sanders who finishes it.
Down to 6. Lobbed ahead. Ross fouled from behind by Mike Williams, and his second.
That's just a bad play right there. You got the crowd into the game. You try to get things going. You're on a 7-0 run. The last thing you want to do is give up a silly foul and allow Hartford to get to the foul line.
You got this guy.
Yeah, Mike, you got to be aggressive. You got to stay up in the full court pressure. But once the lead's down to 6, it's a 2-possession game with 3.5 left. You can't let Hartford just march to the foul line. Ross, their best player, a good foul shooter at 81%. So that bump by Williams, some would say, oh, he's hustling. You got to back off right there. That's not a smart play.
Ross cans the second. Trayvon Wilkerson returns. He's had a really nice game after being challenged. Did not play. Coach's decision against Appalachian State last time out. He's at the center of this zone for Hartford, whose lead is back to 8. Sanders dumps it off. Johnson finding Sanders. Williams skies for the offensive carom.
A little better energy on this possession by Rutgers.
Freeman is fouled, and he hits again. A career day. He's got 25.
And Mike, you got the sense the last 2 possessions, Rutgers, especially offensively, a lot crisper, a little bit more energy, a little bit quicker off the bounce, moving without the basketball. Another opportunity not only to cut into the lead here, but as well on a made foul shot, get up into full court pressure, be aggressive, but don't foul.
Freeman doubling his season high 13, which he had against Malloy and North Texas, and fans on their feet at the rack. Will a Big Ten atmosphere shake this America East team on upset alert? Driving inside, Carroll too strong.
Getty's able to recover just enough to bother the shot.
Driving, unable to score, a lot of contact, didn't get called. Williams going down, he's fouled. Both teams in the double bonus, and Rutgers will shoot free throws to try and make it a 1-possession game.
Well, the Scarlet Knights came into this game leading the country in offensive rebounding. A lot of contact, no call. So what do? You go to do what you do best, and that's rebound the basketball off your own misses.
The 45th tallest team in Division I. They've got height. Rutgers 16 of 28 from the free throw line. They've left plenty at the charity stripe. The first no good. As a coach, this must drive you nuts, giving up 13 free points, but Rutgers +8 here in the last 3 minutes, a chance to extend further.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to make up a deficit late, you got to convert from 15 feet.
Williams now 1 for 4 from the free throw line on the game. The rack is shaking in Piscataway.
Well, certainly the fans are doing their job.
Ross finding Carroll, slapped away, he's fouled by Williams. Every time this building begins to shake, there's something that seems to bring it back down.
Well, usually here in this second half, it's a whistle. A lot of fouls against Rutgers early on, and I think that really affected how they guarded Hartford. They got a lot more tentative because of their foul trouble.
Carroll now 2 for 3 from the free throw line and just 2 for 10 from the field. The return of Hobbs, and Lynch takes a seat. There may be ripples in the Raritan from the sound being made here. Carroll didn't even draw the rim. And this crowd feeding off of that momentary failure. Williams tries a three. That's good.
And now Rutgers, you don't have to be overly aggressive. Last thing you want to do is foul on this possession.
Timeout. John Gallagher. A program that last went to the postseason in 2006. Last reached the NCAA tournament in 1991, and you wouldn't be able to guess it if you were in this arena right now.
Now, fans here have been waiting for this for a long time, and I think they're realistic. This is certainly not a team that anybody thinks is going to break that NCAA streak, but they do like the way that they've worked. They've battled, the way they've guarded, rebounded, and defended. And they like what Steve Pikill has done, changing the culture. One thing he said, next step, how do we learn how to win? And how do we learn how to deal with winning? They were a little flat here. They let Hartford get into too much of an offensive rhythm, but they have fought back, gotten themselves back into the game, and certainly gotten the crowd back into it as well.
At 4:50, Hartford led 70-57. Rutgers forcing another turnover. Rutgers playing nearly spotless basketball over the last 5 minutes.
The referees are going to go to the monitor.
And they're showing it up on the big board here. We may have an even better look. A 14-3 run for Rutgers.
Inside of the last 2 minutes, able to go. Make sure it indeed did go off of Hartford. And I don't think there was enough evidence to overturn it. So now Rutgers, after being down 13 just a couple of minutes ago, with a chance to tie or take the lead.
Johnson rattles it down, tied at 73.
Now starting to feed off the crowd on both ends of the floor. Much more aggressive both ways.
Offensive foul against Lynch.
Well, Mike, you asked the question a couple of minutes ago, how would this Big Ten crowd and atmosphere affect this America East team? Well, it's sped them up and gotten them out of character. Lynch trying to lean in, create the contact, and on that last lean in, as his arm got away, that's an easy call.
6-0 on the horizon.
And Rutgers taking a while to get started. They need to be careful here.
And they turn it over. Sanders dives in to keep it. It'll be Hartford basketball on the held ball.
And I didn't like that. They've been attacking the zone offense a little bit quicker, a little bit more crisp and efficient. By holding the basketball out, you get them tentative on the offensive end, and it backfired.
The worst defense that's ever existed, the prevent defense. We'll see if Rutgers can be aggressive. We can see if Hartford can get the lead back. Blagojevic steps in. Ross blocked. Comes to Geddes. Sanders in transition. Johnson reverses and scores. The first Rutgers lead since 45-44.
And credit Sanders once again finding a teammate and the open floor.
Done. Blagojevic bounces off contact. Oh, what a finish.
He's giving him a huge lift off the bench. Rutgers now, let's see if they take the timeout. First thing you got to do is get over the timeline. They do. Or whether or not they'll attack the zone without calling the timeout.
Sanders put back by Geddes. 7.6 to go. Hartford's going to do it here. Stripped. Sanders finds Johnson. Rutgers holds on to beat Hartford. 6-0.
And Johnson got away with one there. He just threw the ball into the air with 3 seconds left. Nearly hit the scoreboard, which would have turned it over. Instead, Rutgers sleepwalking for most of that second half. Steve Pikiell's team able to fight their way back into it, and a couple of big defensive stops late allow Rutgers to go to 6-0 for the first time since the 1975-76 season.
Deshaun Freeman, 26-10, his fourth double-double of the year. And Steve Pikiell's dream start for the Scarlet Knights continues. What an atmosphere here in Piscataway, and what a finish late.
Here's this tough finish. Offensive rebounding has been their calling card all season long. Geddes able to get that one to fall, and then the strip on the last possession, not allowing Hartford to get off a look and pull off the upset.
A 2-point win for Rutgers. They'll face Miami this week. It'll be their stiffest test yet. But right now, nothing but good feelings on Black Friday in Piscataway.
And here's this last possession. Great quickness by Sanders to come up with the steal, puts it ahead, and then Williams throws it in the air. That almost hit the scoreboard. They get away with one, and that's exactly what Rutgers did. They got away with one, surviving with the 2-point win at home.
Did not miss that scoreboard by much, and there would have been about a second and a half left on the clock.
Yep, that's learning how to win, and Steve Pikiell talked about it. This is new territory for them. Remember, they won 7 games last year, off to a 6-0 start now. Big turnaround.
How many games last year did that situation matter that much? These fans, oh, they're ecstatic. This could be the start of big things at Rutgers.
Well, Steve Pikiell will take the win, but I can tell you one thing. He's not going to be ecstatic with their effort here tonight, especially on the defensive end, allowing Hartford to get red hot in the second half, but showing enough grit, determination, and fight to fight back down by 13 with under 5 left to somehow steal a 2-point win.
Double figures from Geddes, who puts in the game-winning basket. Typically, he's the guy who gets carried off, but when you're 7 feet tall, you'll carry everyone else off.
Nobody's carrying that guy. Trust me. But he carried him with his play offensively. Out of the high post, he distributed, got guys involved, and a huge offensive rebound putback that ended up being that winning margin.
The last winning season, 2005-2006. A group that has big ambitions under Steve Pikiell, and this may be the start of a turnaround. Got a long way to go. It wasn't pretty all night, but certainly this one, it counts, and it's 6-0 for Rutgers. So for producer John Anderson, Rob Kennedy, Mike Watts saying so long from Piscataway, New Jersey. The final score is 77-75, Rutgers over Hartford. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as our other games on our family of ESPN networks. Log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN Gettys with the finish. Freeman with 26. Rutgers is 6-0.